Coming up with boundaries is frankly the easy part. It's upholding them that is tricky. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tara East. I'm a writer, blogger, YouTuber, and the author of the mystery novel Every Time He Dies. And in this week's video, I want to talk about creating boundaries. Now, before we get into this week's video, I do want to say that I got some snazzy new glasses for Christmas, and they're very special blue light blocking glasses. But for that reason, I can see in my camera here that they are glaring quite a bit with the light, so I'll try and position myself so it's not too much of a distraction. But as I just said, what I wanted to talk about in this week's video was creating boundaries as a way to support your writing. And I came across this quote by May Sarton in her most famous book, Journal of a Solitude. And Sarton says, "I often feel exhausted, but it is not my work that tires. Work is rest. It is the effort of pushing away the lives and needs of others before I can come to the work with any freshness and zest." This quote encompasses the experience of so many writers. The idea that other people are a constant threat and impingement to your creativity. It's true that we do create boundaries as a way to protect our creativity. This could look like asking your family to leave you alone for an hour after dinner each night, or for a few hours every Sunday afternoon. A boundary can look like closing the door, complete with a do not disturb sign whenever you're doing your work. It can also mean buying noise-canceling headphones and setting the house rule that whenever you have those headphones on, you are to be left alone. Coming up with boundaries is frankly the easy part. It's upholding them that is tricky. We often think of boundaries as rules that we create in relation to other people as a way to keep ourselves safe and happy. But do you ever consider the boundaries you need to create in relation to yourself? What behaviors do you engage in that actually hinder your work? It's easy to say that your writing session was ruined because a family member knocked on your office door or a friend dropped by for an unannounced visit. But what do you do that sabotages your creative efforts? Setting boundaries for yourself might look like putting your phone on airplane mode, closing your inbox, leaving the house, speaking kindly to yourself, being patient with the work. It could look like allowing yourself enough time, choosing to schedule time for your writing or other creative projects. It could be engaging with your work even when you don't think there is enough time. You have an extra spare 10 minutes? That's enough time to fix a sentence or two. It could look like making changes if something isn't working, either in your routine or the work itself. It can even mean daydreaming, giving yourself permission to daydream. It can be setting rules like keeping your pen moving whenever you're in session, or using a timer, or your boundary could be, I'm allowed to read during the day. Now, some of these boundaries that I just mentioned are restrictive, such as closing your inbox, because this behavior can easily lead you away from writing and art making. Other boundaries are expansive in that they give you permission to engage in activities that enhance and enrich your creative practice, such as being patient with yourself, daydreaming, and reading during the day. It's easy to focus on how the actions of other people hinder your writing, but we also need to acknowledge how our own behaviors can limit or restrict our creativity. Setting any kind of boundary, whether it's verbal or physical, is the easy part. It's reinforcing them that requires guts and gentle discipline. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Do you set boundaries around your writing, either for yourself or for others? And if so, what are they? And do you keep these promises that you make to yourself? Do you find it difficult or easy? I'd really love to know, so please leave a comment below and tell me all about it. Now, if you'd like even more writing advice, of course you can watch the other videos on this channel, or you can head to taraeast.com and dive into the archives. While you're there, please consider joining my email newsletter. Because when you do, I'll send you a free gift. Who doesn't like free stuff? And you'll get a newsletter in your inbox every single Thursday morning, including a note from me, a quote of the week, some resources I've recently loved and think you will too, as well as some tidbits that I only share via email. Thank you so much for being here and for watching this brief but important video. I hope you got a lot out of it. Stay safe, stay calm, and keep writing, because the world actually does need more books.